We're joined here in the studio by the former editor of the Indian Express, Mr. Arun Shourie, who of course is known for his fearless writing during the emergency imposed by Indira Gandhi and subsequently as well. Arun Shourie, great to have you back on NDTV. And we began this conversation a little earlier in the evening, and I'm going to continue from there. Do you really believe that the Prime Minister didn't know that this circular was being issued?
I'll be repeating myself, but the fact of the matter is that in this government, as they say about God, not a leaf moves but by his will. And actually he claims credit for that. Everything good that happens is because of him. How could Smriti Irani or some bureaucrat in the I&B ministry draft such a far-reaching circular, which will, every fool would have known that it will have far-reaching consequences? And you must see this as a pattern, as part of a pattern. Look at the way, the perverse way in which this government has used the sedition law to silence people, Hardik Patel, Kanhaiya Kumar and so on. Sedition. That is the overthrow of a lawfully constituted government of India, to break up India. This is therefore a part of that pattern. And secondly, we must remember, you say, okay, Smriti Irani did something and the Prime Minister would not have known. This fake website was supported, do you know by how many ministers? 13 ministers. Yeah. Mr. Modi knows everything about Manmohan Singh being with Pakistan, the previous Chief of Army Staff conspiring with Pakistan. He knows all that, but he does not know what 13 ministers are doing. How is it possible?
So why do it then? Why issue the circular?
No,
and then take it back. Was it a trial balloon you think,
of course,
to test, to see the reaction?
That's right. And that is where the lesson is. Whenever they fly up such trial balloons, there should be such a tsunami of a backlash that they withdraw. It's very important to do that. This is the second or third time the government has attempted it. You see what they are doing to the right to information. So, on all these matters, they are trying to choke the independent voices in the country, because they are not now in control of the situation in India. Therefore, they will continue to persevere with such things. And this whole hoax, this entire whole hoax of autonomy. Oh, no, Press Council of India will do it. No, Broadcasting Association or something will do it. And they reconstitute them. In any case, just see what they are doing to other autonomous institutions. What is happening to the RBI?
No, that's true.
Or to the Election Commission. And just 1 second, to the Supreme Court. The second senior most judge of India, Justice Chalmeshwar, has been compelled to write a letter to the Chief Justice. Please call a meeting of all 30 judges so that we can discuss government interference in the judiciary. So, Supreme Court is worried, and we should repose our faith in the reconstituted Press Council.
I want to come to that, because it's interesting, and I think our viewers need to know this, that the Editors Guild statement which has come out this evening is actually the strongest statement of any of the media organizations, and it comes after the Prime Minister's intervention. And it makes this point that while they acknowledge the intervention of the PM's office to withdraw the I&B Ministry's notification, they remain deeply disturbed that faith is reposed in the Press Council to deliver justice, because the recent reconstitution of the Press Council has been done in a way that gives rise to doubts over its independence and ability to pay neutral umpire. It says the Guild's nominees to the council were disallowed on technical grounds, and therefore they've said that there are non-transparent processes being followed. And now we've just seen a BJP MP is on the Press Council, who until a few days ago was strongly defending a fake news website.
Right, and no, even on this fake this website, which these 13 ministers of Mr. Modi's government supported, and said, please look at this, please look at this. They said they took pride in saying we have nailed 4 fake stories. As the Indian Express pointed out, 2 of the stories were stories published by the Indian Express. One story was based on a letter by the Cabinet Secretary himself.
And never denied by the government.
No, how can they deny it? It is the letter. Second is a story based on an FIR by the father of the poor boy who was killed
in Gujarat.
Because of riding a horse. He is a Dalit boy. So these were the 2 fake stories which this website has nailed, and 13 ministers of this government Mr. Modi's government, who is now so outraged by Mrs. Irani's circular, they said, oh, look at this, look at this. And we think we are supposed to believe that he didn't know anything?
Tell me, Mr. Shourie, the problem today seems to be also in how we define what fake news is. I mean, I actually went to every dictionary today to pull it out, which is why I put that in the introduction. Fake news is that which is intentionally published or broadcast with the aim of misleading. It is done intentionally, whereas incorrect news is something that is different. The problem here seems to be that the government is now defining fake news the way Donald Trump does, which is anything you don't like or which is critical of you is fake news.
Right. So I think
there's a pattern there
your
too.
definition is completely correct, that it is falsehood which is spread deliberately. And you can see who is doing this more and more. If you just give me 1 minute, I'll give you examples which Alt News has put out on its website. You just go to the website and see. There's a photograph of chaps hammering at the statue of Rajiv Gandhi, and they say, because Lenin's statue in Tirupura was broken, and people said, oh, this is not a good idea, and so on. So they said, look here, these people didn't speak when the commies broke Rajiv Gandhi's statue. Photograph, everything put out. Actually, it turned out that this was a photograph of something happened in 2013, not in Tripura, but done by the supporters of United Andhra. Everybody knew it. The photograph was published in Deccan Chronicle. These people picked it up and said these are commies who are doing it. Similarly, several big people said that this JNU student, Najib, who was missing, has joined the ISIS. They put out tweets, see, these people were speaking for this JNU student, he has gone there. And it turned out that the actual Najib who has joined ISIS is from Kerala. That is fake news. Then there's another one. You can go to their website. They say Pakistani flags were shown at the demonstration on the 200th anniversary of that Bhima Koregaon battle. Not Pakistani flags. They were Islamic flags. Secondly, then in this terrible violence that occurred, that buses were being stoned in Gurgaon during the that Padmavati
Karni Sena.
Karni Sena thing. And what did their website say? They said, bus has been attacked by Nadeem, Firoz, Amir and Ashraf. 4 Muslim names. And the SP of the area, contacted by Alt News, said, no, there are no such persons.
Yeah.
We have not arrested anybody.
They put out a statement clarifying.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is fake news. We don't need complicated dictionaries to tell us what fake news is, and we just have to see and we know who is putting out this fake news.
What would you do as an editor, if you were an editor today, to deal with this problem of fake news?
I think first is I would absolutely adhere to the truth and fear. You see, this itself shows, this circular shows that the government is very nervous about certain facts coming out. So what the media should do is to redouble its efforts, its energy to excavate those facts and broadcast them. Secondly, whenever they come across these news of fake news, don't just dismiss it as somebody's fringe effort. It is their mainstream effort. So publicize the truth about that fake news in this way. Third, if I may just promote something, that there are some very small groups which are actually now, they have made it their business to nail fake news people. And those persons, you should give them some time. Every day, just give them 2 minutes. What is the fake news that you found today? It will get to millions of viewers of yours. It will give give them a platform.
Because all we're actually doing is basic fact checking. But can I ask you, Mr. Shourie, what parallels, if any, do you draw between what's happening with the media today and 1975? Do you see a parallel at all?
Well, once again, as Mr. Advani said at that time, they were asked to bend and they chose to crawl. But I think that now the media is being kept in line, not so much by fear as by bribe, as by just stuffing their mouth with advertisements and so on. And the ingress of large houses, large business houses in owning equity in these channels and so on, and newspapers has meant that their tails can be pressed at many points. So the media today is much more subservient, when in fact if you step out of Delhi, the fear about Modi and his government is really now almost invisible. These youngsters who march, the farmers who marched to Bombay, the Maratha identity fellows who were there, no fear. These stand-up comedians who are always making fun. So,
but does it tell you something that when a circular like this comes out from the INB ministry, the media outcry was fairly widespread?
Yes.
And even in these times when the media, large parts of the media have become cheerleaders for the government, that there was a pushback. I mean, did that surprise you that there was that level of pushback and they had to take it back?
No, well, they should be. It's very good that at last the media is waking up, and also that is a symptom of the fact that the fear of Modi has gone. That even in Delhi, actually when the NDTV, these tax things and raids or something took place, again there was a very large meeting at the same venue. So one thing after another is sort of dissipating the fear of the Modi government, and therefore it's very necessary for the media shed fear, report the truth, stick to the truth, and you will triumph, because every government, please remember, Mrs. Gandhi's emergency taught us that lesson, Rajiv Gandhi's defamation bill taught us that lesson, Jagannath Mishra's Bihar press bill taught us that lesson. Every government which has raised a hand against the media has had that hand burnt and has had to withdraw that hand. Exactly what has happened now. So the media should stand firm, they should speak as the Editors Guild. It's wonderful that they have spoken clearly on this matter, and if we are together, government to aati jati rehti hai.
Let me ask you one final question, Mr. Shourie. The problem here is, look, a lot of people are concerned about what is perceived as fake news. A lot of it is spread on social media and online particularly. What is the best way to regulate that? Because you have bodies like the Press Council also, which really lack any teeth. There's nothing much that our own regulatory bodies can do beyond issuing a condemnation. So is it time to give these bodies more teeth, provided of course it's not a Press Council of India the way it's constituted now, but constituted fairly?
Not at all, because you see, these bodies in India will always be constituted by the government directly or indirectly. So the best thing is the reader has to be vigilant, the viewer has to be vigilant, and as I mentioned to you, I'd repeat that suggestion again, please give more time and give a platform to the persons who are pursuing this, who are nailing fake news and all. I'll give you this example. Do you know how many persons are doing this wonderful work on alt news? Every day they are able to nail a fake news. Do you know how many persons there are?
Just a handful of people, a couple of them I think,
yes,
isn't it?
Just 3 paid employees, just 3. So just with 3 persons what you can do. Imagine if you give them a platform, if other people gave them donations and said, yes, we want an independent media in India, how much more could be done? And that's the way to deal with fake news. On the other side, we should always stick to the truth. Then, and third, we should have confidence, because they may manage all headlines, they may put out all fake news, but people in the end will compare what they read in the newspapers or see on these channels with their own lives. You try and tell the farmer that, oh, wonderful things have been done for him, and the poor man is on the verge of committing suicide. You think he'll listen to you?
Propaganda can only work up to a point. But Mr. Shourie, it's great to talk to you on this particular issue. Thank you for coming in this evening.